Then there are issues of relationships and also singleness. So I'll deal with those marriages and how to counsel people in marriage situations. Maybe you have a spouse and they tell you, you'll get sometimes in pastoral and counseling situations, one of the spouses coming to you and complaining about that spouse. The only thing you can do there is listen. Sometimes if you hit a crisis in a marriage, one of the marriage partners will probably confide in you and the other one doesn't want to talk about it. But the thing is all you can do is say, I'm here if you want me. And if they want your help, then what you can do is sit down with them both and listen to where they're at and just try and help them to communicate to each other. Don't take sides. Really, if they love the Lord, then you can help them work through the issue. If they're not close to the Lord, then it's going to be rocky all the way. So you need to encourage them to get close to the Lord, both of them. Then the second thing you need to do then is say, look, why don't we do some studies and take them through some scriptures, basic foundations about what marriage is all about, because very often people just haven't had the teaching. And maybe do a 10-week course with them where you take them through what marriage is all about, and then through that all the issues of the marriage will come up. The other thing as well, if it's a serious issue in the marriage, while you're doing that, you can encourage them to have a chat with another couple, an elderly couple who've got a stable marriage, and go to them and have a chat as well. So that will give them support and stability and help give them a foundation to work through their issues. Okay. Someone who's single, who's lonely, who comes to you, there's got to be some kind of proactiveness. Well, first of all, you need to help them to understand that they're precious and valuable, even as a single person, that God understands their pain. Well, there needs to be encouraging that person to get involved in activities where they can take attention off themselves and on other people, and not to become withdrawn in oneself. So try and encourage the person to get involved more in activity, and give them some encouragement in the sense that God knows their pain, He knows their suffering, He knows their difficulty. And throughout all your counselling, which I'll come to in a minute, you've got to encourage people to know that God is with them and God will help them. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video in a minute. But the point is that for a single person, the prospect of never marrying is a bleak prospect. So you've got to be able to be honest with them and say that might not ever happen, but at the same time give them hope that God understands and is with them. But try to be proactive, try to help them to do activities where they're not concentrating on themselves and thinking about their singleness, which is difficult. And that means maybe the advantage as a pastor, you can, with your wife, invite that person for dinner and help them through that loneliness. But you've got to be careful that you don't get attached to them and you don't try to fulfill all their need. You can only do so much, and then they've got to be able to take it on board themselves and do something about it themselves by getting involved in Sunday school, getting out, visiting people, doing things where they're not concentrating on themselves.